The challenges that I faced before becoming a believer, I don't know. I look back and I think, like, how did I do it? In God, in what Jesus did. And being able to find that is so much more rewarding than the fears that you might have for the what ifs. My name is Deborah Jones. I live in Naknek. I work for the Bristol Bay Borough Fire Department, and I also help out a lot here at the church. I was born in Anchorage. I grew up in South Naknek. In college, I took UPIC classes. I learned to speak the language a little bit, and I learned UPIC dancing and brought that back to the community. I was raised in a Russian Orthodox church, but my grandmother, when I was young, she would open the church up and do cleaning and keeping things tidy and whatnot, and we would take along, some of my cousins and I, and she'd tell us stories. And some of the stories that she'd tell us were about, like, David and Goliath or Noah and the Ark, and I was always really intrigued by that. I didn't come to find a Christian church until I'd met my husband. We'd started dating in 2009, and we'd discussed, what we wanted in life. We were up talking late one night, and he said, so my friends are asking about you. And I was, okay, well, what is there to know? Like, we all know one another. We both grew up out here. He said, well, they want to know if you're my girlfriend. And I said, well, do you want me to be? Well, if you want to be, then I think you can. I said, okay, I think we can do that then. And so we started dating that winter. He proposed on Christmas, and I said yes. And so we moved to Anchorage together. We thought, okay, well, we'll get married sometime. When we moved to Anchorage together, we were not married, and we were living together. We started attending a church with his cousin's family. The way that I grew up, it was you go to a Russian Orthodox church or you go to a Catholic church. And it was neither one of those that we were going to. It made me very nervous to do something like that. That was out of the ordinary from what I was raised, I guess. After going and meeting the people there, that they just loved us. And even though they knew that we were living together, we weren't married, and I hadn't known a church like that before, they still loved us. When I was younger, I didn't understand exactly what Jesus did, and I didn't understand the love that God has for us. So it was a different feeling for me. I don't remember all the details, but I remember that it came up that, if you want to be saved, if you want to recognize what Jesus has done for you, and if you want to accept that, then, we want to pray for you. I remember being emotional and thinking, is this what I'm supposed to do? This is what I've been curious about all of my life. I decided to get up and walk forward, and I looked over, and Bubba was walking along with me, and so we both went up and we'd prayed about it, and they'd prayed over us that we would come to know God and come to know the love that He had, and recognize that this is what Jesus did, to save us from our sins. And after that, it was almost like there was a lot more peace that I had. It came down to either we were going to get married soon, or Bubba was gonna move out. He was gonna go home. We prayed about it and felt like it was just a good thing to do, to just get married. January 29th, 2010, we got married. We moved back here that summer, back here to Naknek, and so we started going to church here, and sat in the back row, came in a little bit late, would leave, right there at the end of service, not hang out too much. And we had a pastor come out, and he dedicated 3 years to the church and said he'll be here for 3 years. And he had talked to Bubba about it, and he wanted to try to pursue him to be on the leadership team. We prayed about it more, and the more we prayed about it, the more we felt that that's where God was leading us. In 2017, my husband started pastoring the church here, and with that, I became the pastor's wife. And it's been a different kind of work. It's a lot different than like my regular job. It's been a bumpy ride. Life happens and things happen, and I don't think that God has ever left us or forsaken us. He's always been there, but some of the trials that we've gone through are just part of our journey, and that shapes us into who we are and how we can relate to others and how we can better serve our community that way. In August of 2010, my grandmother was sick, and it was very unexpected. She went to the clinic here. They weren't sure what was wrong. She got to Anchorage. They found an intestinal blockage, and they needed to do emergency surgery. We got a call late that night from the hospital saying that she wasn't doing well and that we should get over to the hospital. So we got over to the hospital as quickly as we could, and she passed early in the morning. I just remember thinking, why did this have to happen? I was pregnant with our first son. My grandma was so excited to meet our baby, and why did it happen? My cousin, he came over, the one that we were staying with, he came over by me, and he sat by me, and he gave me a hug, and I asked him, I said, why did this happen? And he's like, we just don't get to know. And it kind of stuck with me. Like, we don't get to know why. But it was a very challenging time. It was a lot of, I just wanted to know why, and I wanted to not hurt. But looking back at that, I can say that was a huge challenge in my life and in my family's life, but God brought us through that. Being able to go through this and being able to call out to God. Yeah, I still say why, but I'm not gonna know anytime soon. But I know that He's not going to give me more than I can handle. He'll give me a little bit more, but that's only so that I have faith that He's gonna help me through it. And He helped me through this. And I can sit here today and share those challenges that I had. And I found that in God, in what Jesus did. And being able to find that is so much more rewarding than the fears that you might have for the what ifs or the uncertainties that there are. Rejecting that love, that's not where you want to be. That's not something you want to do. Or pushing it aside or pushing it away. Trusting that He'll take care of it. He'll take care of it all. And He will. And He'll provide for you, and He'll support and get you through all the trials better than you were able to get through trials before. He wants that relationship with us, a personal relationship with each one of us. And that's all there really is to it. It's just to not give up.